Morning. Welcome to Business Growth Accelerator Live. Hey, simple strategies for serious business owners who want solid results. And I'll tell you, come every morning, 9:10, 5 days a week, 260 ideas you'll get a year. Imagine if you only implemented 10% of those ideas. It's 26 ideas, one every fortnight. Now this morning, I want to talk to you about integrity, because I've been reading in the paper recently just lots and lots of stuff that makes me shake my head and wonder, what the heck are people actually thinking of? And what I'm talking about here is the lack of integrity in leadership and business ownership. And I've been reading, as I said, I've been reading in the paper. So I just want to outline a few things that I'm reading in here that absolutely stagger me. This one is from James Coney. And he talks about time to break the fund manager's code of silence. And he writes in here, and I'm quoting directly from him, "I hear from unhappy Hargraves customers all the time. What rankles most is that no one has taken the blame. A business where no one takes responsibility for such a devastating series of errors clearly has weak leadership." And you know what? I have to go along with that. I absolutely agree with him that people are obfuscating. If they can get away from their responsibility without taking ownership, it actually goes against their integrity and their beliefs and their values. Now, for me, for values are things like the rules that we live our lives by. And the value test that I put on values is something like, if you apply this value and no one found out you broke it, or it cost you money or embarrassment, would you still do it? Now, very few people will put their hand up and lose money or be embarrassed, because it's all about saving face. And we've got to get away from that, because, we found often that when people don't put their hand up, the lie or whatever they're trying to cover up or hide just gets worse and worse, and it comes back to bite them big time. Let me read you another article here. Here's one that is talking about one supplier, it says here, issued a county clerk claim to recover £13,000 in debt. And he goes on to say, they give every excuse under the sun not to pay you. They've sent checks which have bounced. They're elusive. They just hope you don't have the appetite to pursue them, and then they just go and find some other mug to fall into the same trap. Carl Tandy, owner of KT Building, said he had received £7,000 of the £115,000 he has owed for work carried out on a Worthing store ahead of its opening. I've been pulling my hair out, he says, over this. They should have not ordered the work if they couldn't afford to pay for it. Now, here's a plea from a business owner, and I'll tell you what, my heart goes out to him, because he has mouths to feed, he has a business to run, he has overheads, and someone is pulling the chain over his eyes, and that really guts me. If you are that person, have the guts to go and have a courageous conversation and say, I'm struggling at this stage, can we work this out? By, as he said, sending dud checks, being elusive does nothing for your integrity. In fact, it is going to find you out, because karma says what goes around comes around. Here's another one, all right? Virgin Active, all righty? They are forcing landlords to write off or defer rent arrears and take a haircut on future rents. Now, get a load of this. Virgin Active is using a controversial new tool that will allow it to push through a restructuring, even if it is opposed by property owners. All right. It goes on to say, about a fortnight ago, the gym chain, advised by the accountancy firm Deloitte, sent a letter to creditors outlining the plan. Now, I'm not for or against business owners or landlords or renters, but what I'm saying is, to both parties, get around the table and talk. Outline what is actually going on, so that you can actually just look at what needs to actually happen. Martin, good morning to you and welcome. I think it's just gutless when people will not actually talk, because it goes against your integrity. It goes against your values when you try and welsh out of a deal. Business owners, leaders, Look at your integrity. What do you value? What are your beliefs? How can you actually make this a happening thing? That if you've got a problem, talk with someone. Landlords, if you've got a tenant who is struggling, talk with them. See what you can do to keep them if they've been a good tenant. Tenants, talk with your landlords. Stop hiding behind this legalese and this accountancy stuff. And I know Deloitte is doing a job there, but I sometimes wonder what these accountants and solicitors are actually doing. Why not actually front your client and say, hey, listen, you owe the money. Let's have a chat with the other party to see what the solution is that we can come up with. That actually goes to your integrity. And the other party, realizing that you're trying to make a good out of a bad situation, will potentially come to the party too. There's only very few people in the world that are absolute asses and actually won't want to engage in you, that are just going to try and drag you for every penny you've got. Well, if you've got that type of person, there's not too much you can do about it. Karma will come back and bite them in the backside. So the tip today is about integrity. If you are a business owner, do the right thing. If you are an employee, do the right thing by your boss. Remember that your boss has got all these overheads that he or she is having to commit to. You can go home at 5 o'clock and all you have to worry about is the paycheck coming in at the end of the month. But the integrity is, if you have an issue, talk about it. See what the compromise is. If you owe money, put your hand up and say, yeah, I do owe this. Now, what's the issue? What can we do to resolve this? What can we do to resolve so that both of us are happy? There's the tip for the day, integrity. If you've liked this, please share it, comment on it. Somewhere around here, you'll see the link to Business Growth Accelerator. If you'd like to join the group, and you're going to get tips like this every day, Monday to Friday. Not tomorrow though, or Monday, because it's Easter. We're actually having the holiday, as you guys should be as well. If you disagree with anything I've said, please let me know. Would love to know what you're thinking and why. Because for me, integrity and values is so, so important. And we let ourselves down if we don't live by our values or we don't live by our integrity. Enjoy your Easter, relax, and we'll see you next week.